Greetings, Darklings from across the internet. It is once again I, the Duchess Precious Ken, and I have a special guest for a video premiere with me here. I have Allie Frost of the band Frost of Doom. Hello, Allie.
Hello.
Nice to have you on the show and have you here with us. I've got to talk to you a little bit lately in the Sounds and Shadows Facebook group, which has been a lot of fun. Why don't we start out before we get into your video? Tell me a little bit about how this project started and a little bit of your musical history to give our viewers some background for you.
Sure. So Frost of Doom came about at, I think, around 2016. I made an 11-track demo, and it was just kind of my way of doing something that was gothy and alternative and ethereal, because that's just the type of singing voice that I have. And I just kind of wanted to see where it would go. So it did start as a solo project. And I was living in Chicago at the time, and pretty much spent 2017 doing like a bunch of open mic nights just to see how it would go. And that was a lot of fun. And then at the end of 2017, I relocated back to the Boston area, I'm a Massachusetts native, so I pretty much came home.
Nice.
And then I recruited, my husband, he played guitar for me for live shows. And my friend Davis Stark of the band Era Nocturna joined on bass for live shows. So then we started to do that around the Boston area, and that's pretty much where it's been since. And been working on new material since that demo. We've made 3 singles, 3 songs, and working on a full-length album currently.
Lovely. Tell me a little bit too. I mean, that's great. I mean, we know Deva and her music. Tell me a little bit about what it was like getting her involved in the project, and you know, how that maybe helped and influenced your sound going forward. Because I know you said to me a minute ago you were kind of influenced by her. So I love the story of kind of that. Then you brought her into the band and being a part of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I did not know Deva personally, but my husband has been longtime friends with her. And so he introduced the both of us, and I knew that she played bass she's a multi-instrumentalist as well as I am. And I really loved her music, and she kind of liked what she said. She liked what I was doing too. And I said, hey, how about the idea of, helping out to play bass for live shows? I'd really want to get this with people other than just me on stage. Yeah. And she was down for it. So that's how that came to be. And we haven't had many shows as a 3-piece.
Sure.
That kind of, again, got put on halt in early 2020. But I'm looking forward to the future to see what comes about with that.
I think we all are. I think that's something that a lot of us are hungry for. Well, why don't you tell me a little bit then, hoping that things open back up. Tell me a little bit about the Boston dark music scene. And, you said you grew up there. What was it like, and what were some of the places that you really like to play there, and hopefully we'll get to again in the future?
So Boston has a really rich music scene, as you know. Years ago, before I moved to Chicago, my very first band was a gothic doom metal band, which I guess is where the whole doom thing kind of originated for me. And so I was heavily involved in the metal scene in probably like 2009, 2010-ish. And that was kind of a tough scene because we were kind of doing the Euro metal thing, and it really wasn't popular at the time. I think it's more popular now.
It is now, yeah. You guys.
But at the time, it was like no one really understood what the hell we were doing. I had, the ethereal voice, and my counter vocalist did the harsh death metal growls, and everyone was like, "What the hell is this?" But we had a lot of good shows, a lot of venues. in the North Shore area in New Hampshire. Manchester, New Hampshire had some great venues. And then directly right outside of Boston had some great venues.
What was the place that I went to there that was really, I think it was called Middle East?
Oh yeah, yep, that's a legendary place. I'm
Yeah,
not
that was a
sure if
really
they're
cool song.
still, well, they're not operating now, but I'm not sure if they will be operating once this whole thing clears out. I think they sold the building and probably under new management. I don't know if new management will keep it a music venue. We hope. Um,
Hopefully.
Unfortunately, even before the pandemic, we were already starting to lose a lot of venues.
Yeah.
So it's been getting tough. But flash forward to coming back to New England and now being kind of in a dark waver goth rock scene. I haven't played too many venues yet, but we played several times in Salem at an event called Dark. I'm sure.
Yep. Very.
So that has been awesome. I love playing at Dark. And right outside of Boston in Somerville, Mass, there's some good venues there. One called the Jungle Room, I believe, that is pretty fun. And yeah, so we're just looking forward to getting back into it.
Yes. So I'm going to do two non-video related questions before I jump in. Number one, you talked about Chicago, and a fun one that we like to ask here. What was your go-to pizza place when you were in Chicago? This is we're foodies here, so this is an important question.
So I really liked Gino's East.
Solid answer. Solid.
I mean the typical Giordano's. Goodness knows I had plenty of that out there. It was good, and surprisingly, I really kind of preferred like a regular pizza over their legendary deep dish.
Sure.
I don't know why. It's just I liked the regular style better.
A lot of people have even said to me that like true Chicago Pete isn't the deep dish thing. That was kind of a thing that came around later, you know.
Yeah, I hear it's more for the tourists, but
Yeah. All right, an important question number two, non-music related. I was looking through your Facebook page, getting ready for the interview, and thinking, and I saw that you do a lot of art and visual art pieces in addition to the music. Tell me a little bit about that and where people can find and purchase this stuff.
sure. So around 2017, I started to get into painting trees and moons. I know it sounds a little cliche. However, I did really make it kind of my own thing because the moons have, a lot of them have like special cartoon characters in there that are kind of like wholesome goth style.
Yeah.
And it's very, it's something I especially got into this last year, having so much time on my hands. And I make one every week. So as you can imagine, my house is just filled with them at this point. I've sold several, but I still have a lot accumulated. And I have my own website, alliefrost.com, and they're all for sale on that site.
We will make sure to link that for all those interested from the interview and going to check that out. I checked out today, and I'm going to be looking that up on payday on Friday. There was a lot of cool stuff there.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Okay, so FrostofDoom, we're going to premiere a video for the song Shallow Pressed. And I really vibed the song. Like you said, I mean, it did have a bit of 90s throwback, like third wave kind of goth thing happening, like Sunshine Blind that I'm wearing today. Shout out to Carolyn. But it definitely had a lot of that wave, but it also some shoegazy elements, some slush to it, and really great bass lines. I mean, that was one of the things that really blew me away is that you did a really nice job of it was both clean, but it walked at the same time. And I think that made a really cool effect. Tell me a little bit about the song, and kind of what was in your mind frame when you wrote this one, and then B, let's tie that into what we're going to see in the video, which is some really neat scenery. I'd love to hear where you shot it and kind of kind of like when you're talking the moon and the wholesome and whatnot. It does. It has a little bit of outdoor like shadow witch vibe going on, and I really vibe that. So lead us in and set the scene for us.
Well, thanks. So Shallow Pressed is the first song that I wrote after I did my original demo. And I kind of personally feel like it was the first song that I wrote for this project where I was like, I really have something here. I have something that's really worth sharing. And I wrote it, recorded it by myself, and Daniel Velasco of Glass Apple Bonsai
Yeah,
kind of had to mix and master it for me.
that's awesome.
He also did a little bit of additional programming, so it has that awesome. I'm a huge Glass Apple Bonsai fan.
I am as well. And also just a peach of a human.
Oh,
Just the
absolutely.
sweetest dude and just really helpful to a lot of people in the scene. He's one of those that you can reach out to and has just been very forthcoming and very good about feedback and taking time for other artists in the scene.
Absolutely. And being a producer and I really just got into self-production and audio within the last since 2016-ish when I started this. And I even went down to Nashville a couple of years ago and took an audio course specifically for women because while it shouldn't matter, it is still kind of a male-dominated field. So I wanted to be amongst people that were kind of in the same situation as me. And that was such a boon to my progress and certainly not the world's best producer, but I'm so much better now and I'm always getting better. I think.
I mean, you have to do it to get better. And I think that's a really interesting point that you brought up there. It is true. When you're sitting there ready to learn, you don't need to have 12 dudes mansplaining to you technical crap so that you don't even get a chance to get your hands on the keyboard and really drive it and learn. And I think that's one of the things, especially in this scene, that I look forward to so much is the wealth of lady producers, not just musicians and sing, but producers being able to make their own music the way they want to make it without having some dude involved. And I think that opens up a lot.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of women in the producer's chair, a lot, and it's fantastic. And I'm so thankful that I'm a part of that realm and learning from them and just keeping on and always getting better. So
you were then going to talk about what the song meant to you and kind of the impetus for writing it?
So yeah, Shallow Press, I do feel it was an important song. Kind of my way of it kind of let's see how would I best say it, just how shallow how shallow the scene can be. I trust me, I think there are a lot of great people in the scene and I certainly don't think everybody is shallow, but there's a lot of problems with ego and always just kind of only caring about what you're doing and not really coming together. And so it was just kind of my way of letting that out, that I don't think it's right. And I think everyone should be supporting each other and we shouldn't be so shallow pressed. And one of the lines I say in the song is the end in sight for unwelcomed. Mm-hmm. So kind of like, you don't belong here. You're not into the clique. I've never really adapted to that attitude. And I think, especially if it's goth music, like be serious enough to do your best and make an awesome product, but it's goth music. Don't take yourself too seriously,
You're preaching to the choir there. I'm definitely one that I agree that goth should not take itself overly seriously. We were just having a conversation on the Facebook group kind of about that the other day, that look, nobody came into this world out of the womb instilled with this knowledge of who the sisters were and what Joy Division's first pressing was and being hip on this shit. Somebody showed you this. You had a sibling or a friend or somewhere along the way, and we all came to that at different times. And to me, like, goth street cred is the lamest kind of street cred. Like,
I know.
we all found this when we found this, and that should be celebrated and fun, not something to lord over others.
Absolutely. I fully agree. The video itself was really fun for me to make. I've always really been into mystical things, and living only 30 minutes away from Salem, I find myself there a lot. Ever since I was a teenager, I've always just gravitated towards Salem. I think a lot of us in this area have. So I've always really been into the witchy vibe. I myself don't really I don't consider myself a pagan, but I love reading about it. I'm always trying to read about it more. And so I just wanted to make a video that was kind of in that vibe. And being in Massachusetts, we have so many different castles and amazing landscape. And I shot the video in the fall. And last fall, we kind of had the best foliage that we've had in years. So it was a great time to do it. I didn't even really want to put many filters on the video because I just thought the colors were so pretty. So.
Yeah. No, it does. It looks great, and it's vibrant and pops. And I think for a lot of the reasons you said, I mean, it kind of has a cool, natural, spiritual vibe because of that. For some of our listeners that maybe don't know as much, can you talk a little bit about, I mean, because we talked, Boston scene for a second, but Salem really is this weird, kitschy, unique place. And if you haven't been there, it's hard to understand almost the kind of like goth theme club, theme park that it's sort of become, but like, I don't know, like in a fun, wholesome way. I really had a blast going to Salem.
Oh, it's great. I mean, God, I think their whole year is set just from the month of October alone,
Yes.
with the amount of people that go there. But a lot of the stores that are there have been there for a long time, since I was a teenager. So it has changed, but it's still very much the same as far as the stores and everything that go on there.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, a little on the conservative side, but they certainly do love to capitalize on the witch thing.
They'll take their money for it, even
Yeah.
if that's fair enough. I probably very cool. So you shot this video, and I think it matches up really well with the song. Did anybody work with you on the video, or did you do this whole thing yourself?
I pretty much did this by myself, with the exception of part when I get my music mates along with me.
Sure.
So, but pretty much everything else, it was just me, and went to various parts of Massachusetts. It wasn't just the Salem area. I think I even went as far as there's a scene in there with this really cool abandoned staircase.
Yeah.
And that is in, I forget what town in New Hampshire. It was a really far drive. It was like 2 hours away from me. A place called Madame Sherry's Forest.
Ooh, I like that name too.
And she was an actual madam. She had a house built like way in the middle of the woods in New Hampshire. And she made costumes, I think, for a lot of theater, for people in the theater. And she would have her parties after after theater events there. And she was just known for welcoming everybody and being in costumes and just.
Did shit get Bacchus and weird in there? Is that the legend? That.
I just going based off of what the signage said in front of the abandoned staircase, but I was like, Madame Sherry would love that I'm doing this video here. I think she would approve.
That's awesome. I kind of want to now hear a song that you write down the line called Madame Cherie's Forest. Like that's a great.
Maybe I should.
Vibe. Yeah.
It's a wonderful place if ever you find yourself on the road and just wanting to go up to New Hampshire. It's a pretty cool site. It's pretty rare that we have like an abandoned old staircase that goes to nowhere. Like, I just thought it was really cool. I had to check it out, and I recommend everybody do.
Well, wonderful. So we're going to play the video here in a second for the premiere. I'm very excited. Do you have any parting shots that you want to leave our listeners with that we should be excited for Frost of Doom in the future?
Yep. So I'm currently working hard on the first official LP, It's going to be called Formula 86. And for those people who are really into 90s pop culture, you'll probably get that reference. It's from a 90s movie called Witches.
Mm-hmm.
It's a title that I've wanted to name an album for a very, very long time. And this album is vibing with that title. So it may be 8, maybe 9 tracks. I'm well over halfway done, and it'll be done when it's done, but I think it's going to be done this year. So.
That's awesome. We all look forward to it.
FrostofDoom.com is a website with all the updates and archives and music and music.
Perfect. We will we'll make sure to post the link there. We'll post the link to the art projects. And now, please, everyone, enjoy Frost of Doom.